Y'all, Mr. Y song. Where the fuck you at? K-Scrap Elix. So I know you got your gat. Your dick on hard from fucking your raw dog. The hood you grew up with, homies that you grew up with, don't even respect your ass. Now it's time for a homie to check your ass, infidel. Used to be my homie, used to be my ace. Now I want Matt to slap the taste out your mouth. Looking by the ounce of the row. Fucking me, now I'm fucking you, little hoe. Oh shit, it's the Monday locker room as we get hardcore, as Dre gets half of his stuff taken from the ex-wives. All of us have got the prenups. So you better get up and do your push-ups. Ya Allah, it's Hacker Hameen, it's MSG. No, it's not, it's RBV, all the three letters. And Dr. Ted back for your Monday locker room infidels. Ya Allah. Switch myself up on September there, RBV.
Well, I say it's been so long since I've been back on Mondays, man. You forgot who was supposed to be sitting in this spot.
Yeah, man, but I'll tell you what, I'm proud of you, dude. You no days off. You're part of the no days off club now. I see you out there producing, out doing everything, man, like inspiring everything, and others that you're working with, dude, from the racetrack to wrestling to the podcasting world. You definitely leveled up this week. I know you feel it, and we're all proud of you, dude. Good job.
Absolutely. Again, it was just wanted to make sure that I didn't miss another week here. Wanted to touch base, but as I told you before we got on air here, it's going to be short for me this week. Short and sweet. I just want to jump in. Sure. Just a few things as I got to be heading to the track just for some follow-up work after a big weekend that we had. But I guess to pull that curtain back real quick before we get the beast and all the fun with the monologue, I really did want to say a sincere thank you to the Hameen Army. Just not the individuals that I regularly talk to that know what's going on in my life, but individuals that I've never heard of before. That say, hey, we miss you each and every week. We want to hear from you. We understand there is something going on. If you need anything, we're here for you. It makes you feel like you're doing something right, and it really does touch you. To have people come forward and say, hey, the show's been great, but we're missing that RBV element. We want you to take care of everything. We want you back. And that truly, man, it meant everything. And to kind of let everyone know what is going on, both my grandparents on my Vickery side have been hospitalized recently. Over the last couple of weeks, my grandfather is still there. He is in the ICU, dealing with multiple issues, and it is COVID related. And I know a lot of people out there have always said, they come forward and excuse me on this, it's, well, you probably change your perspective. They probably changed their perspective. Well, no, they haven't. They still take that stance that society needs to move forward, that we don't have to be shunned away from people or, locked away. You still need to move forward. They understand things happen. Both of them still feel that way. So I just want to pass it on to everybody and say thank you to everybody for all the love. It's much appreciated.
Yeah, man, and well-deserved, too. And always we got a thought in our mind for you and your family as you're going through that, plus towing the line on all these other gigs and being inspired, like I said, man. So it's not easy when becoming that next level of boss, but when you do it, it's more sleepless nights and just tons. I feel like I'm under a mountain of work this week that I have to get organized myself. So it's switch up September. It's the end of the month, end of the billing, all that kind of stuff has got to go down. But, that's like you said, that's the way it's just got to go. You got to shoulder it. What are you going to do? Chop wood, carry water or not? And to everything, turn, right? There's a season, turn. And, our grandparents or wherever at the end of their lives, I'm glad they have that perspective of being able to see that. That's a moment of clarity that a lot of people at that time, when you have to face something like that, they're not prepared to do that. So I can absolutely see where you're cut from that cloth, RBV, and that's kind of a nice peace of mind to know that when you're faced with it towards those end times, and that there's fear around every corner, that you can still look at things and say, they probably look at you and go, look at this. There's our legacy right there. Look what he's doing. And you go and tell them what you're working on. That gives them some reciprocity and peace of mind where they know what they did in their lifetime. Look what it's yielded and paid off on. So you being the dedicated grandson, doing everything you got to do, you're never going to catch any heat from here. You're always checked in, and we can always have another soldier jump in that hole. It's going to be a different guy shooting. There's no doubt about it. It's a different voice dynamic, and you're always wanted and welcome. But we know what the fuck priorities are around here, and no one's ever going to hold anybody's feet to the fire for doing the right thing when they got to do it. It's you work first, and then you can go do the fun stuff and play, not the other way around.
Well, like I say there, one of the things that Grandpa always says is he likes to listen in to some random shows, just not the ones I'm on, but anything across HMG. And he's always just amazed is, a simple Cincinnati bus driver, that our voices are heard around the world. It blows him away that that's even a possibility.
I know a great movie about a simple Bronx bus driver who probably had some of the best knowledge there was in Bronx Tales. So just because of that's like judging a man. You weren't WWE champion. Well, your opinion doesn't mean shit. Bullshit. That's phony, man. Like there's a lot more to say about a guy who might shelve his own dreams because he's got responsibilities, and that bus driving union job was a fucking smart move so he could set up for his future. And maybe bus driving is exactly what he loves, interacting with the people every day and being personal, just like you are. Maybe that's the bus driver could be the original podcaster to some degree. Well,
I'll tell you what's really cool about it. When he retired there, which is something our entire family is very proud of, right here in the city of Cincinnati, they're the official street. It's actually a city street leading through up to the bus terminal. He retired that. They actually named that Russell Vickery Drive.
Phenomenal.
So he has a name because he was so tenured there. Their longest tenured driver, never an accident. So he's lived a great life.
Before we wrap on it, we'll put it over that Russell Vickery is the tribal chief of today of the Monday Locker Room. How's that? We all salute him, sir. Thank you for making a great family and legacy, and us be able to connect with you, Rick. I think that's the biggest thing all the way around, man, that we can do to, not like I'm trying to talk about they're not here, but to pay as much respect as we can.
Well, it's absolutely, a lot of people just wait till they're gone to show that kind of appreciation.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. So if he's there and you want to play this for him, Gramps, you're always welcome in the locker room, pal. Grandma, we want Grandma kick out. We want those cookies for catering too after our match. We gotta get sugared up, baby.
I don't know. Grandma might talk more than actually you've been, so I don't know if we have enough mic time for that.
That's all good. We'll get her in the next 5-star star search. We'll get her own show for sure. But a guy who's on plenty of shows here, man, all over the HMG spectrum is our own Dr. Ted. Good morning from the dark, buddy. How are you, pal?
Good morning. Well, yeah, as you can see, things are a little different here. We spent the weekend trying to redo floors, and my man cave, if you will, has been the catch-all for all of our crap. So as daylight starts coming in through the window, you'll hopefully get a better view of me for those that are watching, so I don't look like I'm just looming in the darkness.
I kind of like it.
But I did want to reminisce for one more second about being a Cincinnati bus driver, because I think the amount of context and life experience for someone that spent so many years doing that can't be matched by anyone. Like, to me, that's someone that's lived, that's someone that has some stories, and there's something to be said for having that life lived and that context behind those experiences. It's really poignant in a way. And I think it's very telling that he's someone that he's seen some shit and still holds true to his beliefs and knows what's basically he sees through the bullshit, and he's someone that tells it how it is, and someone that has that context behind it, and again, that life experience and all those stories. It's just so telling. So I just wanted to say that as well on that piece, not to harp on that, but
oh wait, man, that's great. Yeah, a lot, man. That's how the spinning wheel goes round. Anniversary this weekend, so I was a little disconnected for UFC. We came back and watched Clash of Champions last night. Some really good, some things that could have been punched up, some really bad, and then what did we do in the main? We'll talk about that and get to the review of that a little bit later. Might do a switch up September here. I got a call to make because I got somebody trying to rib me a little early this morning, so we'll see if he picks up the phone and whatnot, and there'll be a little surprise. But if not. So we're glad to be back here Monday Locker Room, post pay-per-view, post UFC. Shout out to Society 858. Gave me a quick tip on Saints last night and Packers, so I was already up on my little weekend betting that I've been doing on Bovada, and boom, hit again, man. So appreciate you. I see you out here this morning. It's always nice to do a little extra at the end of the day. So feeling good. Thanks. Pickle Barrel Ass is up in here with the vinegar and the sweets, however you like it. Big Evil Pops, Kaz, our video editor, Corpse in the house. Matt Schaffer took his ass to work. He thought I was yelling at him. Our own tables, athers, and chairs from the Friday Smack Attack. Also, Switch Up September Strangler Steve was on there from the Wednesday Locker Room. So I love this. The guys are getting to work together. What a great idea that was. I can't remember who had it, but I think it was not me, but I'm going to take credit for it anyway because that's what heels do. Domino 815 and DKO. I see all you guys out here, and we're actually streaming live at twitch.tv/conspiracy horseman, at Bin Hameen YouTube, and at Hameen Media Group YouTube. Group. And so we're just trying to do as I could go to if I upgraded the StreamYard to more channels, but I think that's pretty good for now. They're getting enough cut from the paycheck to do this. But yeah, man, it's great to be able to connect with people all over the world, whether it's in the chat room or live on the StreamYard or wherever you guys are watching us. We appreciate it. Russo's brand members too, a bunch of new videos up there, as I got plenty to do on that side this week as well. So we know you're a super subscriber, and shit gets crazy, yesterday, the real big news that didn't even have to do with wrestling, I think. RBD, I wanted to get your take on this before we bounce. You have to leave us. Is this Rock? I mean, we'll come to that in the Monday morning monologue, but this Rock bit about him endorsing, Biden and Kamala Harris and doing his own sit-down interview, and like the world going off, and then some hardcore responses from some hardcore wrestlers, I guess. Val Venus kind of lost it on him, but this is interesting. The Rock, a Republican, and now here he is, towing the Hollywood line kind of out of nowhere, especially as tied to wrestling as Trump is. And this guy making a move, I don't know. That it didn't seem like it was met with anything but like, fuck you, Rock, kind of from the wrestling world that I saw. Maybe that's just because of who I follow, but I don't know. It's a strange thing here. I'd like to get your guys' thoughts on it for sure.
Well, I'll actually see. It was one of the things I had before I had the jet. One things I wanted to talk to you guys about was this headline. And what really jumped out to me is, Benny, like you say, Republican there, is that The Rock really reminded me of that typical white guy who might have been a certain way in the past and all that, will say a comment, but then when he maybe says something questionably racist, who starts listing all his black friends, because he started that thing off by saying, I've voted for both sides in the past. I'm bipartisan. So he gives you this lead in, and then he hammers home, but this time around, I'm backing Biden and Harris.
Yeah, well, he's got to play both sides, right, for the audience, so it doesn't hurt the box office on anything he's doing. So he's working there, which I obviously get. But like, to me, this, like, if this election went down in shambles, Rock could have been president next year, possibly on some crazy shit, or in 4 years. I think this fucking just shot him in the foot, big time, dude, big time. Beast, what are you thinking on this, dude?
I have to feel like I think in part because of his connections with, I guess, with Marvel, or he's with DC, right? Well, anyway, his connections with people in Hollywood are probably more inclined. Like The Rock's trying to play the political game, and in this sense, it's literally politics, but I think also it's Hollywood politics too. And there's a reason why he's the highest paid actor in Hollywood, and he wants to probably remain in that slot and remain for future opportunities. And he's thinking business for the future. And by doing this, whether or not he does win or lose, then he's still going to be in with the Hollywood liberal elite. And that's the thing is, part of me feels like, man, you could use this as a platform, but I don't think he's interested in going into politics. I think he's interested in playing business. And this is, for The Rock's pocketbook, a better business decision.
Is it? I don't think it is, Beast. I see what you're saying, but it's not the right decision. Who's going to watch? What did he just buy?
The XFL.
Who's going to watch that? Liberals or conservatives? What if you were
That's
to
true.
Case, he just
That's true for that.
Fucked his own product by people who are diehards going, fuck you, dude. After that, I'm not supporting any Jumanji or anything like that. We thought you were fucking going to be the man. And like, now that, not that he towed a hard line, but the fact that he stuck his neck out. And then Val Venus comes back again, that he's a sellout with the pedo cult and shit, and even posting the Saturday Night Live clip about, it's not even a funny thing about the robot that molests kids, and then the clip about him eating babies, like just as a joke slough off thing. So I don't know, dude. Like, I think this is definitely the gay mafia at work in Hollywood.
Is it more of a case where he should just lay it out? I mean, let's look across the
Laid
board.
the fuck out, bro. Laid out.
Where do you gain? Just stay neutral. Just stay The Rock. You're there about
Right.
entertainment. You're there about your business. You're about the XFL. Whatever you got going on. I mean, look at the backlash we're seeing across the world of sports. I mean, LeBron James is under attack left and right now. No one really worried about what's happening on the basketball floor because he's so involved elsewhere, and it's creating that huge divide. Look at how just sports, the leagues themselves, when they take a stance on whatever social matter it might be, if it's the pandemic, if it's racial injustice, whatever the case might be, people are just like, just worry about your profession, your sport, and you're seeing people turning off the TVs, and you're seeing that in the ratings dropping across the board because of this shit.
The only thing he probably could have done is show up on Saturday Night. I was thinking about this exact thing. Should do a old school Incredible Hulk switch, Bruce Banner, right? I always want to say David Banner or Bruce Banner, which one it was. One's a rapper.
They had changed it at some point. It's originally Bruce, but they changed it for television because Bruce was too like homosexual for television
at the time in the 70s and 80s. I get it. But you do a sketch with Kamala Harris. Like, I would actually get Kamala Harris and not have one of the girls dress up with her, and something with Trump headlines, and you just see her eyes get big in rage, and she goes down behind the desk. Up comes The Rock dressed as Kamala Harris and is like chucking desks around and things like that. That's about the only place he could get in where it's like you're not laying out, but you're doing something that puts you alongside that. You know what I mean? And it's tongue in cheek. So even the right siders wouldn't fucking be like, screw that guy, he's doing something with them. Like, this as a businessman, if you make a hard line that way, and I deal with this with a local business as well, you got to expect the blowback from the other side. Now, do you want to cut off opportunity to sell to both sides? No. But is there a strategy in doing that? Because you are showing whatever your beliefs are, and maybe you don't want to put your religious or political beliefs out there and integrity-wise, because then the other side, your opposition, is going to have a reason to not shop there and talk shit about you, right? However, that and it creates panic. However, if you know how to mobilize your base on the other side, and this is the Chick-fil-A model, when the LGBTQ community went at them, and they're very Christian, you try and go to Chick-fil-A on Sunday, it's closed, you're like, what the fuck? If you're an atheist like me, and you just want a chicken sandwich. But that's what they stick to. When that group came after them, their base doubled down. The evangelicals, people were going in there buying $250 worth of fucking Chick-fil-A. That quarter, they made 60% more than they had on record in any other quarter. So there is no bad PR. And if you know how to mobilize your base and they're diehard loyalists, they'll turn around as a fuck you to go and do that. That's pretty much the same thing as Trump going over on Hillary the first time, because they were fucking doing all that same shit. And they're like, oh yeah, tell me what to do again and see what the fuck happens. I think The Rock doing this will work further in favor of Trump. It'll fucking And then the other thing I saw in Drudge Report, Biden 76% locked to win it. Then next headline, plus 10 more over what Hillary had at this time. I'm like, how dumb are you? Because they were fucking going Hillary 90% locked to win it, and then they're doing this exact same fucking thing. Like, why would you go down that road when you know that strategy blew up in your fucking crotch like a hot grenade the first time, dude? So I just was like, the same mistakes in 4 years' time they're making with a different strategy. So when they get, if Trump goes over on them again, they got nobody to blame but themselves for not switching up the game from how the fucking first like terrible, playbook went for them.
I think, what they really should have looked at there is, okay, and I do believe this because, the way Electoral College works and all that is where the Trump might not be the actual majority. I mean, The Rock could have just came out and took a stand in the middle and just talked about, hey, get out and vote, educate yourself. He could have been the voice for both sides. Even if he was,
or neither side.
Well, okay, yeah, neither side.
Yeah,
but even
he's the people's champion. He's the people's champ, right? Shouldn't he be the voice?
Get everybody out. Get all the people out there.
Yeah.
He could have won on both sides.
He could have. You're 100% right on that, Rick. You're 100% right on that. Beast, where are you at on this right now?
Well, I'd say I have no political affiliation, so I think I'm thinking about this, him coming out and saying, neither side, do your own research, go out and vote, and possibly make a stand for, a third party. That would have been huge. But that's also my bias because I really want more people to stand up and say, hey, this is bullshit. The Republicans and the Democrats are both just trying to get money out of people's pockets. It just depends on, which lobbyists are paying for each side is really what it comes down to. So, and for my head's at politically. So I think it would have been nice for him to do that, but obviously he has some other agenda going on, and that's what he wants to push right now. It's sad.
And the media is always been fucked in the last 20 years. And now, like they're saying in our chat room, the silent majority of Trump voters are just sitting there quietly while sites like Drudge that were pretty down the middle are definitely been weaponized. And you can see the propaganda. And people are just going to vote against that alone because of pushing an agenda on you. The more you tell somebody you're going to fucking eat this, the more they're going to be like, no, right? You have to let them find it, make them feel like it's their own and that they're empowered. That's the way you build loyalty and that into the product, not like you're just going to fucking in your face with it. And that's what they're doing all over again. So we'll see if that strategy works, or who knows. I'm not even going to get into it with voting machines and fucking mail-ins. I don't really care. To be honest with you, I don't care about any of that shit. Their plot is already in place, and we'll see which way things will work out, man. Either way, we're going to be here covering it unabashed and keep talking real like we do on the Monday Locker Room, Wednesday Locker Room, and Friday Locker Room, and Conspiracy Horsemen always. So, you know what else we do here on the Monday Locker Room? We do the goddamn Monday morning monologue, baby. I'm ready for
shit.
Yeah, man.
RBV, you got time? I know you got to run. I don't want to.
Hey, I'm not missing this. Hey, I can wait for this.
All right. I'm so tired from doing all these floors all weekend that quite literally I didn't even get a chance to run through all the stories to make jokes. So you're getting a raw, unfiltered. So if you thought the jokes were bad before, this week they're going to be worse. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your Monday morning monologue, and we're going to do it anyway. Let's get to the stories. In a new video on her YouTube channel, Ronda Rousey revealed her process for washing chicken eggs, as I'm sure everybody is scrambling to watch. Starting off strong. Oof. I mean, good for those eggs. I'm glad that someone's getting laid. Can you imagine though, Ronda Rousey's eggs? They've got to be pretty tough. I've heard they're hard to beat. That was for Sean Morley right there. Did you hear what Vicky Guerrero said about those eggs? Excuse me. All right. Sorry for all the egg jokes. I'm a little shell shocked, but it was worth the whisk. WWE has announced a special wine collection inspired by WWE superstars, including The Undertaker and The Ultimate Warrior, in collaboration with Wines That Rock. The wines will be available starting Thursday, October 22nd, and I think this is great news, and I can already see the marketing. Drink all 5, and you can make it through a whole episode of Raw, or at least In a new video on his YouTube channel, thank you to Fightful for the story, The Rock discussed potentially returning for a WrestleMania match against Roman Reigns. Of course, Reigns' recent heel turn has sparked plenty of speculation about future opponents, with some wondering if The Rock could eventually return to WWE for a matchup with his cousin. But would Roman Reigns do it? Rumors say that he would do it for The Rock. Retribution's big coming out party on last week's Raw might not be everybody's favorite thing, but Shotzi Blackheart loved it. Blackheart spoke with the Pro Wrestling Sheet for a new interview discussing the stable's debut on last week's Raw. I was surprised to hear that she said this personally. I figured Shotzi Blackheart, of all people, would say it tanked. I'm glad to get that one. Thanks to 411 Mania for the stories. It appears that we'll have to wait, though, until next summer to see WWE bring back NXT UK TakeOver to Dublin. It's been reported that WWE has moved the NXT UK event from October 25th of this year to June 20th, 2021. Irish, it was sooner. As we kill our UK demographic. Mia Yim and Mercedes Martinez will now be called Reckoning and Retaliation as members of Retribution, and now T-Bar has explained Yim's name. The fellow Retribution member T-Bar took to Twitter after Yim began tweeting from the new account noting, "She's WWE's Reckoning, here to end the borrowed time you've all been living on." Classic T-Bar. But as for Reckoning herself, she's been firing back at fans who are being critical of the stable's names because nothing says sinister and menacing like hate tweeting Twitter trolls. That was hard to say. Cody returned on last week's episode of AEW Dynamite, coming after Brody Lee defeated Orange Cassidy to successfully defend the AEW TNT Championship. Cody came out with a new hair color and proceeded to attack the Dark Order. After that, Brody Lee interrupted a backstage segment and ranted about the audacity that Cody showed in returning. He proceeded to challenge Cody to a dog collar match and demanded an answer by next week's episode. It sounds like with this dog collar match, Brody might have Cody's number, but if Cody has caller ID, he could be barking up the wrong tree. Find out next week on AEW Dynamite, as it's going to raise the woof and things will get rough between Brody and Cody. For real, it is your Monday morning monologue.
Yeah, that was fucking phenomenal finish. Way to take it home.
I think Beast might have answered our question about The Rock supporting Biden and Harris. It's so that he's actually going to be the heel in that program with Reigns.
There you go.
Yeah, pretty much, right? That was something else I was thinking of, man.
Reigns come out with a MAGA hat next week.
right. Like, there's got to be something there. There's got to be because I think that did bad business for WWE and Reigns too. Not that they're not doing bad business all the time with Reigns, but absolutely, dude. Boss Hog, I agree. That was an epic Monday morning monologue. After starting off with headlines, you're like, Man Beast can always brighten the mood with some good, quick jokes, man. So we appreciate that.
A lot of puns.
Yeah.
Get all the dog puns in.
Got them. You got them all, I think.
I think so, too.
Let's see, RBV, I know you got to bounce, man. Anything else we can serve for you, or you want to say on the way out, buddy?
Glad to be back just for a moment here, Monday mornings. Hey, look out this week. I might try to do a run in there. I've been really into Impact Wrestling. It's my must-see show of the week now. So I might make a run in this week on the Impact Attack.
You're welcome to. Also, I'll stooge it off now so you guys can tune in. Big Ray said he's coming back this week too. So
hell yeah.
Feel free, man. If you can come in, do a little time, we'll be rocking and rolling with the Mark of the Masses, the man of the plan. Big Ray here to stay all day. So I'm glad to have him watching along with us. And always that chocolate rain voice is great to have on the panel. So, dude, have a good day. Work hard and be creative.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
Enjoy
the rest of the show.
Love you, buddy. Have a good one, man.
Later, man. Good biz, Briz, right there. Leveling up. You're seeing it every month, dude. You see how people fucking go, dude. You've seen it in a year with him, just the amount that he's been able to do, as well as MSG. as well as you and I putting things together, man. And Ray too. Ray starting his whole side project as well. Stevie Richards. I mean,
we still got to get Ray in as the new voice of Impact. I mean, he's got those pipes.
That's something I forgot yesterday in the meeting that we had. We need to push that this week and Tuesday or tomorrow, or no, what's today? Yeah. So Wednesday when we record, we'll definitely revisit that. Because they need him. There's a spot, and I can't think of anybody who's got a better chance to get it. To be honest with you, may have,
low key, but I don't know if they'd want to. One, I don't know if he would want to do it. I don't know if they'd necessarily want to deal with him. Just because sometimes he can be somewhat. What's the word? Let's just call it spade. He's just almost not the easiest person to work with. So I'd much rather have, a professional young man that's just looking to do his best work right now, and bringing in Big Ray, I think would add a lot of value to their production team. As far as, they had that iconic voice for so many years, and with those iconic voices, truly they can never be replaced. But I think if you're going to find someone with that same energy and same passion for what they do, and someone that has the abilities and the talent to do it, Big Ray is the man to step up to the plate and do that, in my opinion.
Oh shit, he's got to go get his dad. We'll see if I can call him real quick. And no, I didn't mean to undercut you there. I'm just kidding.
You did.
Yeah, Big Ray, he's good. Whatever. Fuck it. We'll just.
We're gonna call. We're gonna make some phone calls.
We'll make a call real quick.
Phony calls.
He said he's got to go pick up his dad from 10 to 11. So. Doing it all for the parents, baby. He'll probably work or fade me just because he's like,
good rip.
Yeah.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system. 4-1.
Oh no, there he is.
Oh,
fucking is anyway.
Oh, whoa, Jesus!
There he is anyway.
Oh You're just calling me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I was gonna fade you for sure. Yeah. Hey, how are we doing, guys?
We're doing great, man. We're live on the air in the Monday locker room for Switch Up September, and there's no better switch hitter to bring in than the man himself, Mr. Clutch in the Crutch. That's what he does, baby. How's it going? Timmy Baltimore is here live on your Monday locker room, guys.
I can't call it, man. It's going great, though. It's good to see your faces and watching what you guys are doing. Love it, hate it, agree with it, don't. You guys got balls, man. And you, there's something to speaking your truth, man. And goddamn, you do it. And, so often you're right. You know what I mean? I see it. Because we're cut from very much the same cloth and, come from the same.
Without you, there is no us. Without us, there isn't.
No me. Yeah.
No, 100%, dude.
So, we kind of bring a lot of the same thinking to the table. I just usually don't have the balls to speak it as often or as well as you guys. So.
Well, you are still playing a different game. You know what I mean? And there's the bubble that people have to interact with to protect their business and do things one way. And fortunately, with the way I've been able to connect with a lot of people and give people opportunities, or my acumen working with Stevie or Russo, there is no once you're labeled on that. You know what I mean? Why would I sit on the fence? You know what I mean?
Lean in, right? Lean in, own it, and here's
going for the top position, and they're hiring me to shut me the fuck up. I'm fine with that.
Good.
But way of like, oh, can I be an extra? Can I? No, I don't do that anymore. You do that for me.
Right.
That's what you do for me. So
those days have come and gone. It's like, money talks and opportunity is opportunity. But at some point, as talent, as a mind for the business, a voice, a body, whatever, any and all, you have to have the confidence in yourself that you can deliver in your own way as nobody else can. And when you have that confidence, when you have that, and you know it, you really know it, like, I'm the best at me. Nobody can, I don't know what the rules are here, but nobody can step to me. Nobody can.
Whatever you want to these cocksuckers. I don't give a fuck.
So, yeah, I think they're like, that's very freeing too, isn't it? Like, to not give, like, and that's when things seem to happen, when you stop giving a shit, right?
And then now to the ultra kayfabe declassified of the locker room. That's why we have influence in 3 of the 4 top TV promotions, and people step to us, or even current WWE roster guys who have had enough are texting with Russo, and then we pump up creative for them that takes 3 weeks to get pitched, to get shot down, only to go back and do some of the same stupid shit that's not going to get over again. And then when it does get over, they fuck it up. They can't execute. You know what I mean? So it's only a matter of time until they hit the wall again.
Yeah, it seems like there's like a real, I don't know, just a block on telling stories, on executing well thought out stories, and having and sticking to the plan, right? See, you can pivot, shit happens, but like that slow storytelling, people are, I mean, if you look at the landscape and what television is now, subtleties and nuances sell, like that. People they're on board. Like, this isn't candy for dummies anymore, man. This is like
Johnny and Cobra Kai. I mean, you're part of original Cobra Kai, you know. It was
that's an alleged that's an alleged thing. I'm not going to fess up to that. But
the backstory of Johnny is so enticing, and now you flip the entire script on him. I love it that Timmy can take the heat as we go to today's headlines, because right in that same vein, let me find it real quick here. No, not Chris Stratlander. No.
I'll say real quick before we get into the headlines, and because I think Timmy will at least appreciate this story too. When we were bringing up the Chick-fil-A controversy earlier with the LGBTQ community, I remember you would have been proud of this, Pops. We were currently in the midst of a story at OVW, myself and Adam Revolver, the mobile homers, the proverbial rednecks of wrestling, going against. It was going against the Mascara Mafia of James Long Paradise and one Brandon Espinoza, who were at the time actually not baby faces. They were playing up the more smarmy heels. And it came down to, there was some sort of pre-tape in which we were challenging them to a match, and I called them sissies, to which they took great offense, because this was 2011 or whatever, and you can't call us sissies. And so we tried to the next week say, man, we really offended them. We just want to be friends. So let's bring them some food. And so we brought them 2 big bags of Chick-fil-A, and then Adam Revolver, they slapped it out of my hands, and I looked at Adam Revolver. I said, I told you should have gotten Popeyes. And that was just the whole, you try to always just lean into what's going on. And
beautiful.
I just remember that was a lot of fun. But it just goes into bringing up what's going on. What now?
That feels like Power. Did Power come up with a lot of that? Like, just as that?
I think we were writing together at the time. And that was,
Oh, good stuff, man. I love all that. I was gonna say, leaning into what you were saying there about doing the long-term business on the story, Dark Order Evil Uno, which recently spoke with some dirt sheet, saying that when we were shown in May 29th at Double or Nothing, we weren't very excited. People didn't know who we were because we hadn't been wrestling in America in over 7 years at the time. Yeah, their last stuff was 2CW. That grew into discussions with them, and we started turning into a cult, explaining where these minions came from. But how do these people join our group? Why do they join our group? Evil Uno admitted that the group was being pushed on until a leader was revealed, but those in the group didn't actually know who it was going to be for a long period of time. I mean, here we are, dude, with here's an idea that's not thought out. Throw in some guys dressed in Walmart's vest, throwing some phony punches. And, like, how do you expect it to get over when we tease Raven, we tease Chris Daniels, we tease Broken Matt Hardy, but then it's Brody, and the smart fans that are your audience know it's just like a Band-Aid on a broken leg at this point. Then we do the WWE says, hold my goddamn beer. And here we come out with what was it?
Hold my wrist, hold my bands, bro.
Yeah, hold my bands, bro. And Stevie Richards, our own, in the chat room right now here at twitch.tv/conspiracy horseman. But so go over to StevieRichardsFitness.com, get the new yoga, get the band program, and you too can be in retribution. Or
what he really needs, though, I was thinking you were talking about the gimmicks, is the cocoa butter. It's all about the cocoa butter.
It's all about that.
We need the Stevie Richards cocoa butter to really get that shine and that gleam.
Take you from ashy to classy, right?
That's right.
But here we are. They don't know they didn't have a mission statement. Last week they come out, Retribution has signed contracts. What the fuck are we doing, bro? And just absolutely brutal on top of brutal, of no concept of where we're going. And now here we are with Donovan Dijak ribbing the thing as it's happening, going back and forth with Jericho and stuff too, and named T-Bar. Like, dude, what? Like, they could fuck up a wet dream over there. The original concept coming off of a Fight Club, Project Anarchy, and like all that is right there. Copy paste, make it your own, and we couldn't even get that done, Timmy.
I don't understand. Like it just feels like a moment of obviously starting in decent intentions, but then too many cooks in the kitchen, or just one cook having that one opinion, and it completely puts out the fire.
Is somebody cooking? I smelled something delicious. What's going on?
But it's like it's hard to even focus in on one thing. I just watched that HBO documentary, Agents of Chaos, talking about the Russian influence on kind of.
Do you remember when Khalil pitched that as his spinoff out of the insurgency? He wanted to be the agent of chaos. Every time I
yes, I do. But it was like one of their strategies Russia has is they throw so much shit at the wall, and some of it sticks, some of it doesn't. But what does, they learn. That's what it feels like with WWE, except when it doesn't work, you got to hang in for 3 hours and 4 segments. And
right.
do we really want to cover up these women's faces? Do we really want to take a guy who's is a like an acrobatic big man and put him in a Bane mask?
5 Bane masks.
Five Bane masks? Like how? What do we like? That's not like a very timely reference at all.
Like making Baron Corbin fucking head of House Lannister the year after Game of Thrones ends.
It's and the names are just another thing. I mean, you got it. Like they're doing. They know.
If you were to join, what would your Home Depot name be? What would it? What?
Ratchet. Ratchet B.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna go Ratchet, maybe on
yeah, Ratchet B. And like guys like Dominic and Mia Yim, like people have worked their ass off to get their thing. No, like
that's the heartbreaking part. Is there's some hugely talented people in that group. So what we usually try to do is Ben will lay down what's really going on, and then I'll say, okay, well, what's the nice thing we can try to say, and I guess how can we turn it around? So I was actually thinking, as we were talking about leaning into it, is this where you feel like, in order to help save their proverbial runs or careers, do they just at some point take the mask off and acknowledge that, hey, this was a bad idea that we were trying to force, and we're not like, those people that were coming in and were forced to do a stupid gimmick and never got over, and have them at that point, you could even do a bunch of callbacks with them running through some of these quote unquote one-hit wonders over the years and showing dominance over, they aren't another bad idea. They're athletes, they're talented, and they're here not to be shattered down with a stupid gimmick. They're here to make money and show that they're the best.
I think that's a possibility. It sure feels like they're committed to this thing, right? And you don't. They're going to see it through to some degree. And personally, I would say, whatever you're going to do it and go away for a minute, and let's start over. And some people don't recover.
Anybody gives a fuck. We heard they were laughing at it last week. I mean, you can see Ziggler and Orton at the monitors going.
Yeah,
you've seen it before. Like, how is that not going down here? And then even Donovan Dijak ribbing it himself to some degree, bro. And then you can't have me and you posting pictures of her bulldog and putting over beauty shots while they're supposed to be like. Everything is killing everything, and it goes back to this Dark Order. They've done something. They have no mission statement. They have no idea who the leader is, no idea where it's going. To be honest with you, you would be the best goddamn choice to be the mastermind behind all of Retribution to come in and fucking do that. At this point, I think it's probably the best.
You start whipping them with the cane, like, no, this is not what I said. This is all wrong.
Yeah, they ain't touching me with their cane, especially after today, man.
You're fucked.
I like that.
No, I think I personally with Dark Order. I'm not going to be as hard on that as I see what you're saying, but at least there's something, an interest and I know you may not agree with that, but I thought the heat that they went off the air with was decent.
They do it all on Dark, and they do all the details that you would care about don't get put on the show. So we just see some weird line of people standing. We don't get to see Colt Cabana, on TV.
Yeah.
From that, Brody's going to be awesome. Whatever, he's carrying that whole thing on his back when he should fucking be a solo guy anyway. Sure, we're going to get. Him and Cody again, but he went over on Cody and pulls 15 minutes with Orange Cassidy. He went over on Cody in 4 minutes, dude. Man, where are our minds at? It takes me right to fucking Fight Club. Where is my mind? Where is my mind?
I am Jack's sense of fleeting optimism, right? But it's man, it is what it is. It's week to week. They don't people are you don't know who's going to be there next week with the COVID. I have sympathy for
booking, and as people don't show up with dues money, he just takes them off the fucking show and shit. I could excuse.
COVID is the new dues money.
I think it's I don't know, man. I'm not sour with the Dark Order thing, because look, they did start as something that nobody knew about or cared about. And I do feel like I commend evil guys like Evil Uno and everything. He's committed, dude. He's committed. They are not blurring the lines. They are what they are on social media, on the television show. But you're right. We're missing the dots, aren't we?
Yeah. And the thing is, they're supposed to be heels, and shout out Super Smash Brothers, Pizzeria Uno and Dos. But they can't do those video game spots as heels and make it believable. So I think there's more value, to be honest with you. That the one short dude he's jacked, but his arms are little and stocky, like Popeye kind of. He's got a shit ton of charisma with the other long-haired guy. You know what I mean? The dude who's just Viano 5, he's got fucking, he can work. Mm-hmm. But then when they try and do these big stand in a line and everybody's got a little 2 seconds to get something in, we're phony. Brody could be on their own, and Super Smash Brothers could get over on their own, especially in this crowd. If you're going to have an AEW video game, Super Smash Brothers would be the fucking dudes to help promote all that. You're getting only 20% value out of what you could be of the guys on your roster right now, is how I see it, because of these things that we started, and we have to stick to them no matter how bad down the end of the road. There is no real big payoff on this. I mean, what, Colt's got to turn back on Brody, or Colt's got to become the leader so Brody can peel out, and then we're at a second generation version, maybe, but they're not really
Colt, but turn them into the Carney Misfits or something like that, to be a different spin on it.
Did you see Did you see the backstage being the elite thing? I rarely watch these, but Colt comes up after his face gets fucked up and it's all bandaged up or whatever. And Colt's like, Doc, you got to help me to this. Just like a trainer. He's like, well, I'm not a plastic surgeon. He goes, I don't care. You got to help me. I'm just figured I'm burned or whatever. And they go in and take it off. And like the doc works on him for 30 seconds. He goes, I think I fixed it. I think I've got it. And they take it off and it's Nakazawa there in his face. And he just screams. Colt's like, ah, but it's all Colt's voice. Like it was very fucking good. It was very funny because I was like, this is sucking. And then the reveal happened. And I was like, 100% Cabana comedy. It was
like something like that could work. Like, you know, Brody says, fuck this and leaves on his own. And Cody's like, well, I guess I got a stable now. What do I do? You know what I mean? And then it's like literally him making up each week. Okay. What would a real leader of a great wrestling group do? You know what I mean? And come up with like just wacky ideas. And like that could really get over on its own as like the comedy hokey, you know, what the big wrestling stable. And he does all the wrestling tropes of what would a stable do? Well, they try to take over, right? Let's try to take over. And like they go to catering and get kicked out. We're like, well, that's not going to work. Let's figure out something else, guys. You know, come on. You know, it's silly stuff like that would, you know, I think for his, you know, type of work. I mean, I think that's where he plays best is in the comedy realm. And I think that'd be good stuff.
I think it's also, I mean, with just starting out, you got to look at function more so sometimes than like what is this group really serving as a purpose on this show? It's a way to introduce and bring up talent that otherwise may not be introduced that way. They're bringing in students from QT and Cody's school. I get all that, right? So in that sense, it makes
those guys from Superstar seminars as well have had chances there.
And I know your stance that there's no excuse for lazy or poor storytelling, and really not when you know there's so many great minds. Well,
I won't even get started because I know how much you love them and how close we all are. But what they've done to Spears to start and stop him 5 times is in 11 months is nothing short of maddening. When I've seen him be able to shine in WWE, couldn't even get close to it. And here we're even farther away from it. While you put him with Tully Blanchard, how is that even humanly possible as a fucking error? You know?
How will you fucking stop?
Sorry, bro.
You got the rip sound mics. I think I don't know what the long game is there. It seems it's you know it's not tragic. It just is what it is. But to be branded as a good hand is, you know, can be the kiss of death, and you can see it's like there's a desperation in trying things. And now it's a bit convoluted with FTR because Tully makes sense there, right?
Sure.
And what is
Black Glove and what, you know, where I thought they did it 1 week, maybe 2, 1 week. And I thought that was probably his best stuff was his Tucker Carlson newsroom gimmick.
Yeah.
Thing. That had tons of potential because he could recap storylines and get a ton of shit in. He could, that could have done business for everybody. That bit.
I couldn't agree with you more. And what's the critique on a Sean Spears? It's that they don't know that he has charisma and personality. They don't know, like the people don't know. They think he's boring. They think he's bland. But like we've seen, even what was 15 years ago, he had range.
Dude, it's right there. Why would you not do? I said this with fun. Cody and Spears again, verbatim, like they know it. Even have Al book it if you need to do this second generation and get permission to use the OVW library. Of course, Al's going to want the shine off of that and show you the original way that it happened. And that's a real thing. Because now Spears can go, look what happened to you. And yeah, I appreciate it. We've been together, but look where I am. And I know I'm better than you, even going back to this.
Well, now, unfortunately, the library, though, that part of the library is owned by WWE, not Al.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'd still show it and ask for permission. Getting sued would be funny. I got it over here. If you guys want it, I'll sell it to you. Cheap. Mm-hmm.
And there's the thoughts of the rumors of, again, that long game, that long con, no pun intended, but like of the Horseman-esque stable. What does that look like? I Cody's got to be in it. Cody is a heel. He's a heel. Like all the every indication, every tell he's been showing in his matches, in his approach, even taking on all comers, has been just a layer of just kind of shittiness, right? Like it's more about his legacy, let's be honest, than the opportunities given, is it not? It's more about the schedule he can crunch out than somebody potentially getting an opportunity inside that character's mind, and I believe that. So now that he's kind of pivoted and progress, like he's always been smart with that character evolution thing, I think, and I think that's very necessary, and not enough guys think that Undertaker mode, or Rene Dupree. I got to change my look every 3 to 6 months so I get a new action figure, right?
Right.
Santino. So it's as far as like if that's in the works with a horseman group. I mean, well, it's been done, but it may, it could. If they take that route, I don't see them executing that poorly. Like everybody in that company, when it comes to their portion of it, that be it the Bucks or Kenny or Cody, are very involved in their portion of it. Mm-hmm. And I don't see them leaving any of that up to chance. I don't know. Who would you guys, if that's a good idea, who would you guys see in that?
To put in that spot with the Four Horsemen, like even now they're like, I gotta shit on it, man.
Yeah, go ahead.
Tully's promo was disconnected and not there for whatever this brush with greatness idea that they have, where it's a 20-minute time limit, and if it goes the time limit, then they get the win on the record, because we got to keep selling for that, which was a dumb thing to put in spot in the beginning. And the contender goes back down the line. So what you're saying is you're going to give your audience a no finish. We're going to put heat on these guys because we're not giving you a finish. And then the contenders are going back down. So there's going to be no retribution on them.
Retribution.
What business does that do to anything? Like, these ideas of even how to get heat on your heels are not well thought out, in my opinion. And I don't understand how a Tully and an Arn, whether it's the Black Glove with Spears, these guys have been in it, so they're as grizzled as it gets. And like, maybe they just want to collect a check. But if you got those two guys, Jake Roberts would go, you know what? Yeah, let him draw something on my back real quick and make me look like a bitch this week. And then next week I'll get with Taz and we'll be cool again. Like, things just aren't making sense for the minds that are there. Those guys must just be clocking in and catching a paycheck, instead of being like, Tony, come here, buddy. We want to fucking really school you on how to do business. Let's just take this from Boom and put it on top of these guys. They haven't seen this in 40 years. Let's make it work. And I don't see any of that going on. Billy Gunn standing right there. Like, how do you have those minds I just mentioned and make these kinds of mistakes and getting something over? Cody's going to protect his own biz. He knows what the fuck he's doing. I mean, it probably took you, 3-4 hours to dye his hair for him that color again to get it back.
we had to strip it. We had to.
I figured you did.
It was a nightmare. It was a whole thing. I actually did the tattoo too.
Shaking his back, and Robert Gibson called saying, "Who stooched me up about weed, bro?
What did you do that? What did you do that for?" Yeah,
I think it was.
Right.
Let's get out of that headline and go. But I don't think to go to your question, I don't think the Four Horsemen thing is going to work as a nostalgia thing. My other part of this, and I'd like to hear both your take. I think Bischoff is locked in. This is me hypothetical as the AEW liaison to TNT, because we're seeing things that overlay exactly what happened in WCW on it. We saw Bischoff on that one show and another little thing backstage, and then silence. And if you're in the biz, that means you got your shit, you shut the fuck up and stay small. And that's who his big brother is right now. Again, is execution taking place to the highest level? Not in the last 2 weeks that I saw on TV. Still a lot of right ideas, wrong execution on things. But I think that Bischoff is already locked in with TNT.
What do you think, Man Beast, Ted, Tool Time?
I think he could have some, here's the thing. He has broadcast network experience, and I think that is, to a degree, invaluable. So I think depending on where he's at and what exactly he's helping with, if he's all of a sudden in charge of creative, I would be worried. If he's a liaison between AEW and network executives to help get them better deals with sponsorships and things like that, and just being featured on, other parts of the network, then I think he could be a good asset. So I think it is possible, certainly. I mean, we saw he made an appearance a few weeks back. To what degree he's involved in the day-to-day business, though, I'm not sure. But I think it could be valuable if he's put in the right place. I think it could be a detriment if he's put in other places. And that's just, where I think he has experience, and I think he has knowledge, and I think he could add value. It just depends on where he's at in the company.
Personally, I think he's a plus, man. I think the days of that rep of ATM Eric, Hogan's boy Eric, I think that's done, dude. I think this is his 83 Weeks podcast is one of the ones I'll listen to because I like to hear about the business side. I like to know the numbers, the things that aren't the TV things mixed with the wrestling things. Mm-hmm. And here's a guy who was the first and only to put a dent in Vince McMahon's armor. And then most recently when he came back in the fold, he was unprepared, It was and sort of out of touch, and whether it was to make him whether that was a fall guy situation, who knows how shit works there. But I think you're dealing with if he's being brought on as a liaison for television, you're not going to sequester him from anything. He's going to have his hands in everything, and I think that is. I don't think that's a detriment. I think he can bring an insight and aside the things of, when people talk about TV buzzwords and demographics, and he sat in and had to deal with the executives and do those, what do you call it, where the test screen, whatever that is, where he has all that knowledge. And that's not knowledge that you can just read about. You have to sit through it and live that. And if he can share that with Tony Khan and help him weather this storm that's happening now, to provide that alternative that could quite possibly step seriously up in Vince's face, because I think who else has that experience? Who else in the industry has
not to bridge the gap between the boardroom and the carnies? That's his spot. And then the guy Riley, who was boys with Khan, who helped get the deal done with TNT, was on his way out. There's the spot. Plug him in quietly. I don't think he's got all that stroke that we're putting over. I think he's reviewing shows, he's giving notes, and he's giving suggestions, and he's doing whatever fluffing needs to be done on the TNT side when it comes to numbers and breakdown, to be able to deal in a boardroom where he's taking that off his plate. That's what he can do. And he only has to do it at a minimum pace compared to the WWE bullshit, that's a constant grinder machine. And if you're in a war, you want a wartime consigliere. And it's the thing that I've heard recently where Khan's worth $100 million and he's lost $16 million this year, but he's prepared to go 5 more full years and TNT's ready to back him. That to me is Bischoff 100%, because Bischoff had to come in when WCW was the shits, lose a ton of money until they finally turned the tide. So when I hear Khan saying things like that are Bischoff-esque, I feel like that's who is his big brother behind closed doors, who he goes on StreamYard or Zoom with twice a week, and they run through it. But they're not applying it, because the last 2 weeks they were down 14% and 17% since the 1 million 3 weeks ago. On that show, here was the formula: 45 minutes of wrestling, an hour of story. These last 2 weeks, we went to an hour and 15 minutes of wrestling and 30 minutes of story. And they're not using like, okay, here's where we were at 1 million. Then they go and he does the post-show scrum and he's apologizing, going, we know our fans want wrestling and we're going to give them more wrestling. And that's what we're set to do in the next 2 weeks. They gave them more wrestling. How'd that work out for you, dude? Like you got to use people in the right way. They had the Lumpy Magoo game down with Orange Cassidy. Blew it by making him wrestle. Okay. Then during the best friends big hardcore thing with LAX at the end, he does the Lumpy Magoo spot, pops out of the trunk at the perfect time, go to the finish. Boom. That was the 1 million show. Next week, back to wrestling, and he's pulling 15 minutes with Brody, bro. Like that, and he's sit down dead selling and whatnot. That's not how you use these guys at all. 1 week we get it right. And then the next week we get it completely wrong. We don't, okay, there's the game. Why did it work? Let's play it out in as many ways as possible to make them shine that way. Instead, they'll overexpose talent just to pull time to appease a very marginalized audience. You tell your audience. You don't let them dictate to you.
Exactly. And that's a very good point in just knowing your own business. What do people want to see? They don't want, they want to be shocked for a moment by Orange Cassidy. Have him pull up that one thing. Oh, and that's all you need, right?
Yeah.
That didn't even compute in my head. Even as I was watching it, like wow, that was a 15-minute match. You're not kidding. And the way Brody destroyed Cody,
he killed him,
he murdered him. Yeah,
which was good. Good business, Cody doing for him. But it lessens the whole storyline when we don't do that with Orange. You know what I mean? And that's not when they would pull Orange out from underneath the ring, pull the ladder out, and he's just laying there on his phone. That's all you need him. You only need for 15 seconds, bro. That's what people are waiting for. That where's Waldo moment. There he is. I saw him in the back. Like if we put him out there for longer than that, we fucked ourselves. And they already did, whether it was champagne mimosa gimmick, all that kind of stuff. Too much, bro.
Do you think, and this may be pivoting a bit, but like just speaking on the Bischoff possibility of his involvement, like one thing he mentioned was he thinks that announcing the entire card, the whole show, every match is proving a detriment to ratings and because it kills the spontaneity.
Sure.
Is that, I don't know if that's necessary. Is it just a different era where, okay, we need to tell the fans what they're getting into now so they definitely tune in? Or do we risk, announcing our main event via that first segment, confrontation and promo? It's an interesting line of thought. But if you look at wrestling now, they're both companies, everything is pretty much laid out. There's very little spontaneity in the card, in the show, right?
How's that working out for them?
True that. True that.
They'll figure it out for a week and they'll have the roadmap and then they crumple it up and go, new map, bro. What are we let's go back to, like, you got momentum, you play momentum. What worked this week? Why? And let's keep going down that road. And we'll make these even bigger worlds for people to operate in. When you just billboard it all, that's like, okay, I can fast forward through this, that, or the other. Or you do that as part of your story so you can build your swerve in that's even bigger because you've conditioned them to think you're going to get a payoff. That'd be when I do it. You don't have to do it every week to say every little single thing, I don't think, dude. And you want to leave them with something at the end to come back with. If you've given it all away beforehand, like our cliffhanger's blown in the beginning, what we ended last show with, we know what the fuck is going to happen already. So you're kind of lessening yourself right out of the gate, I think, with that stuff sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What is people watch wrestling? The average fan watches wrestling because they want to be worked. They want to be
taken on the ride. Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't know, man. It's always in this. It's always been this way. I feel in a lot of ways when it's great and good, it's like the greatest thing ever. Like it's the best storytelling ever. But when it's not, it's.
Did you watch last night? Let's go to it.
Yeah, I did.
Everyone and I shit on it too, but that's because I expect of the highest quality. We have Jey Uso on SmackDown with Reigns cutting these unbelievable promos, as everybody on fucking Twitter said, the greatest things of all, because you've been eating shit for so long that you're so happy to fucking have somebody piss in your mouth. You're like, oh, thank you, dude. So these little tiny things like that people are selling for, and then we get to the big match where it's supposed to be the proving ground, even though we know Reigns is gassed out of his mind and going over, like fucking, the tribal leader at the head of the table. He's the one, like, you can just hear Bruce and Vince. Then the announcers put it over 100 times. Then in the ring, they're saying the exact words. I'm the tribal leader. I'm the head of the table. I'm the, like, dude, you're playing with fucking fire, talking about native stuff to start with. And then you have the big Jew over there going, you're my tribal leader. You're my tribal leader. I'm like, dude, I thought you were in the fucking tribe of Abraham to start with. Like, so he's not your tribal leader. Alpha Samoa Tata. Like, dude, and just ridiculousness of hold him in there. Tell them I'm the one. Like, where Vince is like, I got to get this story over. You got to say tribal leader 68 times. So now we're just getting punched in the face with it. We go, well, we had something, and now we're completely fucked. We're like, this is dog shit. It's as bad as General Hospital at the end of it, like trying to get these lines over and like these takes, the Furley takes of get him to the camera. I'm the tribal leader. And
I gotta put you on hold. I'm sorry. I'm getting what? Hang tight. You guys talk amongst yourself. Sorry. Hello.
Go ahead, Beast.
Well,
yes, it is.
If it's all right, I actually, before we get into all this, since we did have a pay-per-view.
Yes. No, I can be there
I'll mute him.
a half hour.
Go ahead.
Well, it's time for, I feel like, that monthly segment, No Context Commentary. Just while we have Timmy B as an aside. So for those that don't know, my wife, she has gotten really jaded on wrestling, and I can really only make her watch the time they do pay-per-views, which used to be once a month, but now I feel like it's every other week. So without context, well, I guess the context would be SummerSlam. That was the last pay-per-view she watched. So these are her thoughts throughout last night's show for this week's edition of No Context Commentary. Timmy B, you're just now rejoining us. So
I have to pick up my dad from surgery.
That's okay.
I blew the spot.
No,
come on next week.
Yeah, no,
not at all. So I'm just letting you know what we're doing. My wife, she's really jaded on wrestling. I can really only get Brittany to watch when there's pay-per-views. And so it's funny to hear her random thoughts. So literally her context was SummerSlam, and that's it. So throughout the last night show, this pay-per-view edition, Clash of the Champions of No Context Commentary.
I love it.
Ow. Whoa. Ladders are so dangerous. I'm not going to handcuff you yet. I need to set up my ladder first to give you a chance to recover. Well, that was stupid. Wow. Who is playing checkers? Nope. Was he Aladdin last time? I don't recognize him as much without Jasmine. I then had to explain that Aladdin and Jasmine broke up.
Oh, did they?
I like lemon pepper wings. What's wrong with that? Stop wasting solo cups. Like, why? No one's there, and now someone has to clean it up. I hope they lose, and they aren't allowed to have cups anymore if they lose. Oh, God. Oh, fuck. Is it thundering? That's stupid. Come on, Aladdin. Oh, my God. I'm cramping again. Oops, I wasn't supposed to read that one. Thank you. What? He kicked out. They're wasting cups. They need someone with a Captain Planet gimmick to come in and beat them. As long as it fucking stops. Uh-oh. The mean nanny is back, and this time she's got a chair to put you in timeout. You're annoying, and that's why nobody is coming out. Raise my arm, and then I'm going to run away. She ran away from him. Am I excited? No. I do like listening to Drew talk, though. Can we just do that instead? That fucking bitch. Oh, no. A conveniently placed crash pad. That doesn't make sense. Why, though? The door is broken off the ambulance and blocking the path. It can't leave. You can be a big kid, too. And last but not least, well, Jey Uso isn't going to win. he got laid before the match. I was very proud of her for that. And that was this pay-per-view edition of No Context Commentary. I'm sorry for Timmy B. I didn't know he was jumping off there, but always glad to hear from Baltimore. Good to have him at least for a little bit on the show. Hopefully we can have him back more often.
Absolutely, dude. He looked great. I wanted to tell him how great he looked and sounded, dude. And what we were talking about yesterday, that there's the narration voice right there to tie the whole thing together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I wasn't even thinking, but that's the easy way of the tie that binds. Awesome stuff, man, as always, from Mrs. Man Beast. We love her commentary that way, and usually it's super funny because it's super spot on of all the ridiculous shit. So that's kind of nice to have somebody who knows the biz but hasn't been following what's going on just point out the waka dumb shit that goes on, bro.
We'll just go show casual person tunes in. These are similar thoughts to probably what they would have, and a lot of times, unfortunately, it's not a good thing. Unless apparently it's Drew McIntyre talking, but I can't believe she would say that.
He is sexy. He's all jacked up last night. I could see why. Maybe you just need to start working on your accent a little bit more.
I'll do my best.
Watch
Probably get me kicked out of bed.
Only if she wants to fuck on the floor.
I got to get to work.
All right. We talked about The Rock fucking up his spot. But shout out Timmy Baltimore, man. Dude, we have supreme respect for. Love him so much and glad to see him doing his thing. Sorry that we just ruined his career by bringing him on here, but not sorry. So we'll ruin his shit, and then maybe he'll become a full-timer as well. Also was talking, I've made promises before, but I think he's got Thursday off. So the Friday version of your Ultra Declassified Kayfabe Locker Room edition, Mondo might be joining us for that one, too. Switch up some so
Mondo.
Good, my hey, Chris Stratlander update after her surgery, getting injured there. Statlander is 8 weeks post-surgery. At this point, she shared several videos on her rehabilitation process, stating that she's making progress at the moment. You can see in her legs, the one with surgery definitely has some atrophy in it, as it would, But go over to Call Me Chris Stat, and check her out on Instagram. Looks like she's building strength back, doing everything her rehabilitation and physical therapist probably telling her to do, because I think she's got a lot of money written on her, to be honest with you. And I think that's a girl that Serena could actually make a very big star out of and really show her how to get over and could do great business for. I'm really kind of looking forward to, and hopeful to Serena versus Chris Statlander down the road, and Serena be able to make sure she's working safe. I mean, an injury can happen on any dumb little fucking thing, but not taking chances she doesn't need to tell a story that isn't going to go anywhere that could risk injury. And Serena also was pulled for 10 days because of COVID scare, because her gear maker, if this is the inside story, as she was getting gear for AEW, came in contact with somebody who had COVID. So it's a friend of Serena that they pulled the plug just in case for 10 days. But I think that's fine because she isn't really involved in any heavy storyline. And she's had 2 awesome performances on Dark and TV. And she just signed, so it makes you want it that much more. Where are they going to debut her? What's she going to be doing? And right now, instead of making it a whirlwind, as I've talked to her, I think her head's in a great spot of like, okay, we got this done, that done. Now I can have clarity of what's going on and really focus. And she pulled herself off the NWA show, unfortunately, as well. But better safe than sorry. But I'm kind of glad it gives her a little bit of a window to adjust her mind and really have perspective on where things are going that way. But Chris Stratlander, I don't know, 6 to 8 weeks after, we're 8 weeks out after the knee surgery, Beast, how much long we got to go? Probably January, February.
What'd she have exactly?
I think it was MCL.
Those are, they depend, but it can be up to 6 months.
Yeah.
When was the surgery? She just had it
8 weeks ago.
8 weeks ago. Okay.
She's doing single leg, stand on one leg, reach down, touch the ground, and your leg goes back to build strength. Just things like
well, then she might not be too far, because I mean, sometimes it can be as soon as 12 weeks, so she might just have within the next month be able to make comebacks. And that's where it depends on the severity, exactly what was repaired. And sometimes when you go in there, it's not just the MCL. Sometimes you're like, oh shit, we gotta do the meniscus too. So that depends on the exact specs of the procedure. But if it's just MCL, then she might be able to make it back in the next month.
Yeah, I hope so. No rush, I don't think, as far as I'd rather have her be strong and whatnot. And she was kind of had that power lifter physique, a lot like Jenna Van Muscles. And, we'll see what shape she is when she comes back. But hopefully we're working smart and not working wrong style, which you can get the new wrong style shirt, El Plaza graphic at prowrestlingtees.com/Ben Hameen, the No Mo Dojo. Don't go sign up for that ROH shit. Learn how to work for real, please. Oh man, I'm hungry for cheeseburgers. Let's see. Latest on Angel Garza following Clash of Champions injury. During his match, Angel Garza appeared to end up injured. A new post on his status has been revealed. The moment came during the Raw Tag Team Champs when he landed awkwardly, and WWE official instantly threw up the X to indicate a legit injury. Garza didn't get back into the ring for the remainder of the match. He could be seen getting tended to by WWE's medical team on the outside the ring. As reported by PW Insider via Buck, the belief is that the injury is actually related to his hip and not his leg. Thankfully, it's also noted that belief in the injury is not as serious as it might have been initially feared. A hip, a stinger beast, popped out. I don't know. That's not nothing I've seen.
I mean, it is a ball and socket joint, so it is possible. And just like a shoulder, the more times it happens, unfortunately, the more times you're at risk for that happening. I mean, hopefully it was, just a one and done type deal, and he can get some stabilization. I mean, there's plenty you can do to help stabilize that hip better. I feel like even more so than the shoulder. So hopefully, I assume they have someone of utmost competence on their team to be able to help him out and get him back to where it needs to. If not, bookthedoctor@gmail.com. Can help out whoever.
I think maybe you should go over to Chris Stratlanders and check out the exercise she's doing and saying, give her, a tip, progress. I like where
I'll check it out. Yeah.
Why not, absolutely. Dude? I think that could be a great, as many people who get hurt in AEW for doing dumb shit, they might need another physical therapist. They might need a whole army of them,
I've put it out there before. I mean, I've put together protocols for, OVW and the Gladiator Sports Network. And, despite, not being together with them anymore, those protocols are still in place. And I will say at the very least, they keep their guys and gals safe. And so I will put my name in the hat if they want me to bring me in as the rehab specialist and oversee the health and medical department, make sure protocols are followed appropriately. I'm down. I'd be glad to do it.
Our own Jimmy Stranger's Alley said he had a stinger in his hip working, and you can get him. I mean, not like he's green at bumping, you know what I mean? It's your body, whatever. It can happen. Yeah. And instead of fuck your back up. Yeah. And, usually with overweight guys, it's kind of the same thing in that lower disc where sciatic or what have you, you pinch that motherfucking nerve in there, bro. She shuts her all the way down to the bottom of your calf. You can be fucked up for a long time. And really only physical therapy is the only thing that will actually help a sciatic pinch like that. I mean, hot and cold.
Especially being able to return to full function. I mean, there's other things you can do to help mask the pain and make the symptoms better, but you're not necessarily going to get back to your full function without rehab and physical therapy.
Dr. Ted's my favorite doctor too, even more than Dr. Dre. Yeah, I agree.
Shit.
His wife just went over strong on him. Not that his wife wouldn't go over strong on him too.
That happens.
Or all of them. WWE officially announces dates for a 2-part 2020 draft. WWE confirmed that tonight that this year's shakeup will begin on last night, October 9th edition of SmackDown on Fox, and wrap up 3 nights later on the October 12th episode of Monday Night Raw on USA, despite those in WWE being adamant that NXT is a legitimate third brand. It's not. Since moved to cable television, the show nor any of its superstars were featured in a promo for the draft that it aired, including Clash of Champions, because they just drafted them all to be in Retribution. That's why. That's some dumb fucking copy. The rules of this year's 2-parter will likely be different than the 2019 draft, as a brand partnership with Fox saw the entire locker room drafted, with SmackDown getting 30 picks and Raw getting 41 due to it being 3 never-ending fucking brutal hours of TV. I know Braun's going Raw because I put in a good word for him, and there
you go, helping him out.
Yep, I'm a good brother like that. maybe Retribution is in there with part of the contract, so they'll fuck it up. But dude, like the big switch ups, like what? I think Bailey or one of them will go over, but everybody, all the girls have been on every show. Asuka was on twice last night to fill in. We got 3 girls down with COVID right now of matches that had to be pulled. Who else is coming down for like a draft? Unless you're going to do it where they're remote and they have a fucking reaction like Thunderdome. It might be fucked up already with Nikki Cross and all them on the sidelines, and who knows who's next.
Yeah, it's interesting. The draft, though, the draft's coming up.
Yeah. I feel a draft right now. Shut that window. But yeah, 3 superstars not clear to compete. Title matches officially pulled from Clash of Champions. Nikki Cross, Nia Jax, and Shayna Baszler will be off tonight's Clash of Champions. They have not been medically cleared to compete. There was talk of that the mask rules were slipping there, and that people are trying to create heat and whatever the fuck, like they will. But that was 3 matches they built up for, especially on SmackDown with a weird Nikki Cross thing and Alexa and all that type of shit.
That was hot because that was one of my picks. I'd picked Nikki Cross to go over because I thought they were going to use that as a catalyst for. I mean, basically one of those double business deals where it does business for Sasha and Bailey, but then it also does other business for Alexa and Nikki. So I was more pissed about that I fucked up my pick'em challenge. I think otherwise was on point with everything. I think for the most part.
You're on it. Good, man. I did okay on the UFC, I think too. But dude, I love those pick'em challenges. If you're not a member at Hameen Media Group on Facebook,
it's a lot of fun.
What are you doing, man? We got William Alessia over there. Javid's running the UFC one, and who's running is it Alessia running the Pickums or Williamson, whoever it is? You guys are all kicking ass, man. Everyone's having a good time. We keep an ongoing score, WrestleMania to WrestleMania.
Even anything, I'm always thinking business. I was like, if anything, I just can't believe that it's free to play, and they keep up with all the points because it's a lot of work to do all that. So, I mean, I'm gonna have to talk to. I say maybe we could start a paid league or something at some point, just because I feel like, and there'd be more for the fun of it too, because then people can get maybe a kickback if they're the big winner or something like that. Then we can also give Alessia, and whoever's doing all the work behind it, a little bit of a payoff for doing all the work too.
Yeah, I gotta find
something like that. So my wheels are turning only because it is good. It's fun. And when we're doing the floors over the weekend, my buddy that was helping us, somebody know him. He wrestled in the IWA for a while, Cash Flow. He was like, I don't know why no one's capitalizing on this fantasy stuff with wrestling because it's huge. But I think no one has created, a really good system for it. But here at the Humming Media Discussion Group, they've got a really good breakdown of the way they do it with the points and extra questions to be able to help, differentiate the winners, because that's good in case, people get the same picks, and the confidence scoring. It's just really well structured. So I highly encourage you, before I can convince them to make it a paid thing, to go check it out. Well, I'm sure we'll still keep the free version as well, but
yeah, I think so too. But maybe that's, this is the inception of it. And those guys, I do want to appreciate them because they do work hard with all that. I see that fucking Microsoft Excel sheet and my mind just shuts down. I'm like, this would not be in existence if I had to do it, because I hate Excel. But these guys are really meticulous with the numbers. The questions are fun. And even now we have, and they have title matches inside. Like, okay, here's the point leader, and you're going to challenge in the next one. So you become the HMG $5 face slap champ or the world. All that shit is awesome to me. You're a massive proponent of community building, and to see these guys really take that and make something where I'm a fan, I'm having fun doing it. It makes it a little bit more interesting to me. And then even the crossover between the two, we've got Team UFC and Team Wrestling, WWE, and the new Pick'em Challenge one, I think it's once every quarter, is half of a UFC card and half a WWE card to see where we're going to come into, man. I just think that shit is magical. I don't want to ever gloss over that in the community building. Even last night, Charles the Hammer Evans checking in during the SmackDown, or the Clash of Champions live watch along. So
we have to bring him on one of these days.
I had him on. Nice. On Light the Fuse this week, call in. He went off for 40 minutes. It was awesome. It was awesome. So, that's the level. And, we have Killer Cross in there. I don't want you guys tagging these people because that's straight up Mark shit. And the late, Animal, Joe Laurinaitis was in there as well. And Stevie and all the workers that we have. So you have access to these people, and people don't abuse it because the Hami Media Group on Facebook is, a made up of the highest caliber of wrestling fans. Group. I get it, Tony. We're a group. I knew that would pop in with the fucking, because that's what we really missed here, because I wanted to take it home by setting a date with Sopranos versus The Wire, because that's
we missed it.
One op is fucking
that's why he bailed.
More. Yeah, I know he pussed out.
I've been texting him,
dude. Massachusetts call.
Oh, kayfabe.
Yeah, no, it's one of those. Let's see. He says, Baltimore, Al Stooge, he goes, feeling like such a J Brown while leaving my dad at the hospital would have been excellent. Retribution for my childhood car wreck. I just don't think my family clamoring is a full-fledged heel turn for me quite yet.
Still building. It's all about the slow build.
He's
always thinking business.
I'm gonna hit him back. I'm gonna hit him back with that slow build, Briz.
Yeah, you got to slow build that shit.
But he sent it to both of us. Oh man, but Timmy Baltimore, one of my favorite people on the planet, and I like that he gets shell shocked because he's so connected. He's so boys with Cody. He's so boys with everybody. There's not one person who goes, fuck Timmy Baltimore, except maybe Rocky Styles. But like fucking, like everybody loves Timmy, man. And for him to be in the house here is because he plays the game in a different way. He doesn't play the I don't give a fuck game anymore. And maybe he should, but he's got a lot of, invested with Mike Hayes and what they're trying to do, with getting signed when things come back up here. So I totally get it that sometimes he has to walk a different path, but I love getting him fired up.
Yeah. He's got some good promos, by the way, he's a little, I feel like, he's a little more reserved, but he's playing the smart game. But I've seen him, lay into some greenhorn young boys that didn't, that either said the wrong thing or did something stupid, and he was never afraid to lay down the law. We need more of that sometimes in the locker, more policing of the locker rooms, to prevent people from doing stuff and stupid and running their own business. But it looks like at this point no one's doing that.
he can bring me down from a higher level too, not like bring me down to like when I need to be reeled in a little bit. He's very good at that too. We've always had that kind. Always be there for him. At Timmy Baltimore, you guys on Twitter, tell me you enjoyed him on Monday Locker Room. Mike Bennett, though, he reflects on having a bad run. You're gonna have a bad run. During his time in WWE, Mike Bennett recently conducted a detailed interview with Wrestle Stank where he said, I was living in obscurity on 205 Live and random shots here on Raw and doing weird angles on Raw and stuff in SmackDown, like the gynecologist office with the fucking blue fucking curtain as the wall. I had an uphill battle because I spent the last 3 years with my name kind of being devalued in WWE. So now it's like I wasn't in the same boat as like Rusev was, where he had a good run in WWE. I had a bad run in WWE. And so what I'm banking on is that people remember me pre-WWE and the stuff that I did then. So I kind of have to spend the next year or so refreshing people of like, no, this is what I'm capable of doing. This is what I can do. So if your company wants someone like me, let me show you what I can do. So that's how I've kind of been approaching it. Go ahead. I'll give my thoughts on Bennett after this, man.
It's hard because, once you're presented in a certain limelight to a national audience in a certain manner, that being that, kind of demasculinated, as a character, it's hard. Not to say it can't be done, but at some point he needs some kind of platform for people to see him be able to reinvent himself. And certainly he was presented in a much better light prior to his WWE run, but unfortunately people, especially in 2020, really are only focused on what's going on right now. And so in order for Mike Bennett to reinvent himself and get the respect that he's looking for back, I mean, it really starts with finding a way to present it out there. And unfortunately, if he's not on a current platform or company, then he needs to start creating himself. In fact, I would recommend not to, put over, obviously I'm biased, but, reaching out to someone like us, like the Humming Media Group, or someone to be able to start growing his own brand out and showing that he's more than just the guy that was demasculinated on WWE. He's more than that. He's someone that, works his ass off, and someone that respects the business, and someone that's looking to get back and show that he has more to offer and that he's a world champion caliber athlete. But so far, we haven't been given anything to really show that he's doing that yet. And I hope he does at some point, whether it's with us or with somewhere else, start growing his own brand and be able to do something with it.
I agree with all that, man. Working with him at 2CW with him and Maria, real easy to get along with, nice people. Somebody's like, his chick's annoying, but that's what she's supposed to do. She's supposed to be annoying and hot at the same time and walk on them. He's definitely got the prescription from the Florida doctors right now. He's in insane shape, as big as Reigns, as big as fucking Rusev. They're all probably hanging together, I would imagine. There's opportunity there. His stuff at Impact with him and Maria was excellent. And now the spots at Impact with Heath and Hawkins and a couple other guys have kind of eaten up his opportunity, I think, because if he comes in, it's going to look like another WWE failed experiment instead of coming in and doing what needs to be done with EY there and all that kind of shit. Unless they could plug him in with EY right there and come in as the baby face of that. I could see it. They did really good stuff in Impact. But I think he does need to break out, and now's his time to become his own man and his own star. She could do the mom MILF thing. Absolutely. She's in snapback mommy shape, no doubt about it. And they could become a power couple again if they wanted to. They could do Miz and Maurice if they wanted to. But I think Bennett would be better off on his own right now. He can carry it in the ring. There's no doubt about that. I do worry about these guys, not just from the steroid abuse or what have you and what that causes, but his addiction problems, and going to rehab are well documented. That type of behavior to get jacked and be ready to be back shows a same type of behavior that doesn't lend itself to going down the road of being sober and positive where you need to go, especially when you have kids. If you're on the secret sauce, then that shows to me you're anxious to get back, but you're also not taking your own addiction shit seriously for your future. I think, you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Sorry, I had some kind of weird. Sorry, I missed that last thing you said. I had a weird audio just come through my headphones.
No, it's just the fact that if he is on gas to look incredible to get signed someplace else, I get it. It's wrestling. It's what we do. But combine that with his former addiction issues, that doesn't make me think his head's in the right space of where he needs to be.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You almost develop like a hyper focus and not in a good way. And you kind of lose sight of, of rational decision making because you become so hyper focused on this is what I need and I'll do anything to workout, train, eat, and just really get in that mode and mindset. And it can be a dangerous one too because you lose sight of reality and again making rational decisions. And so I know that's purely speculation, but at the same time with so many addictive personalities in wrestling, it would behoove us to at least not bring it up so that way hopefully he's not doing that, but if people are close to him and have a better understanding of how he's doing right now, hopefully they can lend a hand out and make sure that he is doing okay.
Yeah, I mean, looks incredible, but that doesn't mean that your mind's in the right spot for your own best health interest, and that's more important for me, especially with a guy who's got little ones, to take care of now. But that is maybe what he's thinking. I got to be super jacked to get signed so I can take care of my family that way. I mean, it's one thing feeding the other, and it's sometimes a vicious circle.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I'll never be that jacked and don't have to have those kind of things.
If you listen to Tyler Davis, you might.
Well, that's true. You pussy-o. Yeah, that shirt's coming soon too. Culture Vulture, our own Garbax Edge, working on that. Sent me some early sketches. Looks awesome. Tessa Blanchard, I thought maybe last night might make her debut. Tessa Blanchard discusses her hiatus from wrestling. She says, I've been away for a while. The main reason is that I focused on my wedding and honeymoon. The past few months, I've gotten back to the basics. I'm focusing on relationships with my family, friends, and myself. The point of this post is because I'm taking back control of my narrative. I've had people weigh in on what I should do, what I should say, what interview to do, where to go. Now I want to listen to what I want and what's in my heart. I'm so blessed to have so many areas of my life. I'm so grateful to have such strong people in my life, and I regain control of my mindset that I know who I am. At the end of every day, I can say, I look in the mirror and say, I know that woman. I like that woman. I love who that woman is becoming and what she's capable of. That's all I need. Racist? That's not me. That's never been me. I don't have a history of being that way. I don't have a history of using that language. That's the end of it. It's not just who I am. I'm tired of being called and my family seeing me being something so hateful.
She says that in the mirror every morning.
Yeah, I think so. I'm good
Didn't
enough.
even rhyme.
I'm smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like me. Now watch my cameo deuce fucking vids. Phenomenal second and third generation, whatever. I'm sure that's been mental torture on her for the bad decisions she's made. Do people say stupid things all the time? Tune into Hameen Media Group. I say dumb shit every week. Russo's brand too, but 90% of the time it's spot on. But here she is trying to make a play for it again. The heat passes and cools off, but has it really? Like, she had the NXT tryout, was found hard to work with, didn't get the spot. Goes to Impact and New Japan. Impact does bad business, leaves with their title, tries to hold them up Ultimate Warrior style. I'm not sure about the fucking shit tapes or whatever, where she's taking a dump on Cameo for somebody or whatever who's into that shit, but that's there. Then the girls come out of the woodwork with the racist stuff from New Japan, where she's dropping N-bombs on a girl. And that these women are vindictive, and they hammered her once. And when they thought she was coming back to NWA or whatever, they waited in the wings, and then COVID hit. But Allison Kay, Havoc, and a bunch of others are just waiting to sweep the leg Johnny on her when she gets her fucking shot again. They almost want her to get signed or get an opportunity so they can come out and throw the bad PR on her again. Here's her trying to get out in front of it and being like, I'm giving empathy, and it's not a bad move. I'm not saying it isn't. Like this type.
Yeah, what else are you gonna do?
Right. But and I'm taking back my own story. Well, doesn't mean in this cancel culture the ghosts of the past won't rear their head, because they still have one or two trump cards that those girls want to play, and that catty vindictiveness will always be there, especially when somebody who's a second and third generation person who doesn't do the right thing in the locker room, you're just waiting to get fucking torn down, right? And I think they'll do that again to her.
Yeah, I don't know all of what happened. I guess you said she was dropping the N-bomb. I didn't know about any of that. But to me, the one thing that really sticks out is someone that, if I was writing for a major company, she did bad business on the way out for Impact, not finding a way to drop the title. Like, I know she was doing it to quote unquote protect her own business probably, but it ended up, to me, if I worked for any company that was all bringing her in, that alone, I'd say, well, we cannot trust her to not go into business for herself, and going into business for yourself. And that's where, you're only looking to protect yourself and not the business of the stories and the people around you, that are the stories you're trying to create and working with the people around you. Then you can't be trusted to give TV time to, plain and simple, in my opinion. And I would say it's not worth the proverbial risk, because essentially you are investing time and money into her as a product anytime you put her on that television in any capacity, and only to potentially to have them take all that time and money invested in and just, I'm going to take my ball and leave because this isn't what's best for me. Well, okay, well then you're not looking to play ball with the team, so you must be so over, then you can create your own thing. Well, she's starting to realize that she needs to play better with others in order to be able to make something of herself. And unfortunately, she may have dug her hole so deep that others aren't going to be willing to play with her anymore.
And they made a mockery of what they were trying to do with intergender wrestling.
Yeah.
By the way, she worked fucking Brian Cage, working
Right.
50, like they're ping ponging her back and forth. I was just like, we're done here. You can have as much second and third generation cred as you want when you're doing that kind of stuff. You're shitting on wrestling just like you are when people are paying you to do it on camera or whatever. Like, dude, that type of shit is not over with any office whatsoever, and it is all liability. But last night I thought once they pulled whatever and who's going to come out and face Bailey, thought maybe they were going to pull the trigger on that. That would have rocked the wrestling world if Tessa Blanchard would have come out and beat Bailey right there as the fuck you. And then she releases this message. Or like we said earlier, lean into it. If you have asshole tendencies and you're a piece of shit that people want to hate you, turn that shit up even more and go on fucking camera and even cut some shit at home. Well, you know, I'm not an NWA. I'm here at NXT. Like, put it over, dude. Like, let blur the lines between the indies or whoever's trying to get at you. And now you just say, I still got the job and F you instead of letting them affect you. You know, it's about taking the chances and playing the reality of the scene, I think.
Yeah.
She's a damn good wrestler. I
know
mean,
that's a shame of it.
The money is in her and Charlotte at a main event. It's there. But the bullshit that goes along with it to get it done is, I don't know if it's worth it.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if they're going to necessarily pull that trigger because of it. You know what I mean?
Update on Jimmy Uso following his knee surgery. We saw him last night out there throwing in the towel for Jay. Or was that the one? What do I got him backwards? Jay and Jimmy. Jimmy knows this is the big moment. He doesn't want to take light away from me. He just wishes he could be in my corner. He just wants to walk with me, be in my corner, have the best seat in the house. He wants to bang on the apron, feel the intensity, sweat dripping, all of that. Whatever, dude. Like, that's all for Marks. He threw in the towel last night. The finish of that match was so brutally acted and so Vince and Bruce and so those guys trying to do everything they could. There was a lot of good face-offs last night, a lot of good Roman Reigns intensity and getting it, and Jay having empathy, but then the over-scripting and the fucking tribal chief 58 times. We just knew we were watching some phony bullshit wrestling that was all thought out at 2 p.m. And these are the buzzwords we're going for. So we can get the new tribal chief shirt over, which is, I'm sure will drop, by SmackDown.
Yeah. If not by the end of this broadcast.
Possibly.
The WWEshop.com on sale now.
ProWrestlingTees.com/Ben Amin for the new Wrong Style shirt.
Yes.
And our final story of the day, WWE NXT UK reportedly close to signing several new talents. That's interesting. They let a lot go, right? And, shout out to our own package, Chris Sharp, a great referee over there. You may know him as the Brie Bella bitch guy, where he does the, Home Alone face when Steph slapped her. And then you also know him as the fucking dude that Walter kicked his fucking head off and does this pose. So, and then he posted on his personal Facebook the other day, which popped me. He was on the top rope at OVW doing a hula hoop. So I don't want to, it's the package, Chris Sharp. I'll tell you,
hardest working ref in the biz.
Born into the biz. When when Animal passed the other day, posts a pic. I mean, a lot of people are whatever. Here's him at like 8 months old, 1 year old with full fucking LOD gear on, and Hawk and Animal are holding him. He came up under the Hebners, kind of like
right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Then he gets with Silvio and Paradise, or Jimmy Long, whatever you want to call them. While they're doing their indie thing, those guys come to OVW. I was there his first day, helped move package in, and then marries a blossom like we all do once in a while. And then, off to the races, dude. One of the nicest Southern kids I've ever met. One of the hardest workers, a guy with zero chip on his shoulder. And then he gets the shot to move back over to the UK with his wife, with his wives, I should say. And then, parlays that into this NXT spot in UK. I couldn't be more proud of almost anybody we've come up with, of like when they say, now there's one of the good ones who gets an opportunity. Package Chris Sharp, NXT UK referee, knows wrestling just like anybody you'll hear from OVW, as a Rip Rogers guy, from Timmy Baltimore to Beast, to me, to Jamin, whoever on here, Power. And I'm super glad he's got that spot, man, that NXT UK isn't going away. So Sean Samuels was offered a deal, but didn't end up signing due to an injury at the time. Adam Maxted is reported set to close to be signing a deal, although he isn't part of the training camp right now. He is known for his days in ICW and World of Sport, but was the last part of the reality series Love Island as well. So I'm sure Old Athers and McIver will have plenty of inside stooge on this, because I know that they know these guys pretty personally from going to so many indie shows. And as Athers puts over package himself, just a great dude. But yeah, man, I'm glad to see that that's not closing, even though the world, it was really, let's be honest, NXT UK was only made to fuck over World of Sport and IWC.
Yeah.
So at least those guys are getting shots, and there's an opportunity to keep the WWE brand kind of thriving in there. Impact did a great job of that. Even when Impact was kind of dying in the Dixie era in the US, they had you could always take Impact to the UK, and those crowds just were fucking red hot for it. It felt like they really owned it, and it was their thing. I think NXT UK has capitalized off of that a bit, even though some of their talent might seem a little more indie than the rest of WWE talent is.
You're right though about Impact. They that only broadcast got over as guys that were already working in the business and becoming stars, guys like Magnus or Nick Aldis, and gave Doug Williams a spotlight. He was another great hand, and all those other guys. And not to mention
did you say
Rob Terry?
Rob Terry.
Yeah, he's another one. And he's another dude I can't believe he's not doing anything right now. I mean, he, granted, when he started, sure, he was green as grass, but when I worked with him at OVW, he's really kind of started to come into his own. And I guess I think I heard he did some kind of gimmick that didn't work out or something, and then that was it for him.
I was thinking about him. Who would be a great thing to do business-wise?
What's that?
You have fucking Wardlow turn on MJF as his bodyguard to turn Wardlow baby, and you bring in Rob Terry as the new bodyguard, and it's Wardlow.
Oh yeah, and he still looks insane. He looked phenomenal. And always, the thing with Rob is he's coachable. He's willing to listen and do whatever, do business. So I think that'd be a great get. And the other thing I was going to say about Impact is, and then they even took it another step and started making their own stars when they did the British boot camp or whatever it was, and that's what helped to create Rockstar Spud, and then he was able to take off from there. So. There's a lot of great talent over the pond
since he got re-signed or whatever when he was let go with that work storyline with him crying. They didn't done much with Spud. I don't know if they're doing anything on 205 Live or not, but
he had been featured on NXT. They were doing an ongoing story, although as we were talking last week, it just seems like sometimes they'll break it up, sometimes they don't. But he's trying to get Killian Dane to be his buddy or friend. And I like the dynamic between them. It's one of those odd couple things, but I think it works with them because you got the Killian Dane, who's like this big, hairy, Scottish bruiser. I think he's Scottish. People mad at me. And then you have, the prim and proper pretty boy Drake Maverick, who's also the loudmouth. You know what I mean? So that dynamic works. But some weeks they keep bringing it up, and then other weeks, like last week, they didn't even have it. Like I said, at the very least, have a pre-tape with him walking backstage and him punching them. It's not hard to do. Come up with different situations where that happens. But that's the gimmick, is he's trying to get with Killian Dane, who. They had a mutual situation against Undisputed Era where they had to come together, but then afterwards he knocked him right out at the end of the match. And so it's just, that's going on. I was like, I want to see them become champions and go to celebrate. And then Killian Dane turns around and knocks out Drake Maverick and just takes both titles. It's like, fuck him. You know what I mean?
Or you just play the knockout game and he takes the titles and puts them over his shoulder and walks out with both.
Right. Yeah. Celebrating at a bar, knocks him out, and then says, put it on his tab.
That could be Drake's new game to get him over. He's going to get knocked out.
He knows how to play it. Yeah, and he has been playing it. And so when they do play it, it's good, but they just don't always play it. But hopefully it'll pick up some steam. And, he knows how to play those improv games. And, he's learned from the best between Rip and,
he gets
the reps in.
character wise. He was great with EC3. He fucking gets it fully, man. There's no doubt about it. We got it fully here today, you guys, on your Monday locker room. I mean, we got the random notes from the wives, a killer dog opening monologue. We got RBV going to do his business. We got Timmy Baltimore. I don't even know. I mean, I was a little under the weather this morning, waking up with no sleep, and I'm feel fresh and recharged from all this wrestling energy from everybody kicking ass. It makes me want to step up and do my thing today for sure. But you're going to step down, get down on your hands and knees and start fucking sanding those floors, sand the floor, Mr. Miyagi style, brother. Your karate is phenomenal after this. What do you got going on today, Beast?
Of course, I got some old ladies I got to make squat. That's how I pay the bills, is make old ladies do squats. But other than that, trying to rearrange some stuff. Of course, we got the Casa de Man Beast. It's all messed up over here, so we'll be working on that. So I now at least have a legitimate excuse to not be putting out the Bourbon podcast, at least not yet. But it is still in the works. 2024. No, I'm just kidding. It will happen as soon as all this is taken care of. Whenever the hell that is. There's always something going on.
Let's start drinking. Let's get her.
Screw it. Yeah, these old ladies can make themselves squat.
Oh shit, man. We're actually doing more switch up September. I think Beast is going to be on AEW this week, possibly with Billy Ray Valentine, and I'm going over to NXT review. So I look forward to kind of doing that. We'll have a final switch ups here.
Now we run a tight ship over there, and you all need to be good substitute teachers and make sure we stay on the learning plan.
Yeah, believe me, I'll stick to the lesson plan as I come in there, and there won't be any big shoots. It'll be completely, the locker room is the car ride.
We'll see. You have to tune in to see. I don't know. I'll be watching afterwards. Of course.
But I look forward to it. And like I said, we're also going to bring back Big Ray this week for the Impact Attack. Switching up September has been a lot of fun. I wish we would have thought of it the 2 years before, man. So I think that was your idea, Beast, if I do remember.
Yeah, it was. Well, we were talking about, because we had different guys saying, "Oh, I'd like to do a guest spot here, just guest spot there." I was like, "Well, let's just make it happen. Let's just make September, switch up September, and we can, especially since we were doing the 5-star star search and looking to bring in some new faces and names." Yeah. I was like, let's switch it up around, have a little fun, and just have fun with it.
We have better work. Great with our special guest run-ins from Adam Revolver to Charles the Hammer Evans cutting promos on last week's AEW show. Just awesome stuff. And I think it's getting people pumped up to do more and more with us. Whether it's going to be Power, Mondo, hopefully Baltimore. These are the people that we're all cut from the same cloth. So you're going to hear very high level intelligent views when it comes to a subject that they're passionate about, which is phony wrestling news. But that's what we all come together for community wise around here. A great time again in the Hameen Media Group, the Discord. You guys hit up at Hameen Media Group if you want to invite to that Discord. I'm going to be back in there for Impact. A lot of fun for the real heads who are in there. It's our own little subreddit for each show. Things are going live. There's plenty of Scarlet Bordeaux gifts being posted in there, if that's your thing. If you Killer Cross is listening right now, it wasn't me, brother. It was the other ones. And like I said, new shirts up at prowrestlingtees.com/BinHameen. Get yourself stocked up before the next pandemic hits on your Broasters Coffee Russo brand, official limited edition. People are loving it. And ZordosOliveOil.com for all of your holiday up and coming cooking needs. Get it ordered now, so you got it for Thanksgiving. So they say, holy shit, this is incredible. You're like, it's got to be the Zordos olive oil, man. That's what we're doing, real big out here. So appreciate everybody, all the wives going away this weekend for the anniversary and making it back last night to watch the Clash of Champions. I am your tribal queef, blowing it out here on the Monday locker room with Dr. Ted, the Monday locker room. Yeah. hackerhameen.podbean.com. What's the word, turds?